Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Thursday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Filtered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, and pop culture, and all the things in between. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, per usual, such as we got to talk about we got our new Buffy 3 hours ago. Sarah Michelle Gellar took to her Instagram and got on the live with the actress to let her know that she got the part. So they're going to be side by side and all that good. So we're going to talk about who it is. So stay tuned for that. Plus, this is, I believe, what is it, day 3 for the whole Cassie trial situation. So she asked for a break after, the Ruthless defense was exposed on her Racy text. She was blaming herself for ruining Diddy's career and that lawsuit that we found out how much he actually paid her. Because they've been keeping that a secret for a minute, but of course they brought it up in court today. So we got to talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about another lawsuit that's come out against Diddy. This time, there was a woman who compared his erect Peen to a Tootsie Roll. Child, she's saying he couldn't work the middle because his thing too little. So now we're about to talk about the little diddler, as I referred to it yesterday, but I wasn't meaning to call it little diddler as in like little Peen, but Miss Mama said it's little, so that's what we're going to go with. So we got that, plus 50 Cent was mocking Diddy's Tootsie Roll lawsuit and that whole situation, so we're going to talk about that as well. And there was a story that came out yesterday that someone's claiming that they're the one that it wasn't Tory Lanez that pow. Megan Thee Stallion and Foot, Megan's attorney is responding to these claims, so we're going to get into that. Speaking of which, funny how Chris Brown out here to my free Tory, but he need to be worrying about freeing himself because he got found himself up in handcuffs out in the UK because they done arrested him over this bottle throwing incident that happened about a couple of years ago. So we're going to get into that story. Plus, there was a Justin Bieber special that aired last night, and they were spilling tea, said that he was on the verge of financial collapse before he sold his music catalog for $200 million. So we got to get into that. Tamar Braxton's out here being dragged because she went in the episode where her and Nene Leakes dropped yesterday. She was on Nene Leakes' talk show, to be specific. And she is being dragged for fat shaming Loni Love. She also went in on Candy, but nobody's really talking about the whole Candy situation. People are mostly dragging her over the comment that she basically fat shaming Loni Love. So we'll get into that. Chappell and Rowan, a.k.a. Chappell Roan, basically went and asked Lorde if she's non-binary, and Lorde responded. And shout out to Pink News, because apparently they've been stitched together the rumored cast for Drag Race Philippines, Slaysian Royale. So we're going to get into that. And a whole lot more. There was another story that I was kind of having like a tug of war with. Like I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it or not. But remember yesterday when we talked about adult, that the Republicans are going after adult content creators and corn stars and things of that nature? Well, 14 adult film stars reacted to the Senate's proposal to ban spicy content. I saw this over at Pride. It was a lot. It was like 14 of them. I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk about that because it might be a little lengthy, but if y'all want to talk about it, let me know in the comments. But before we get to said topics, if y'all can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps in the show, so that way you guys can follow along with the topics at hand instead of just sitting through all the, hullabaloo that we normally be doing. I was like, what is going on? Because I was looking at something. Oh yeah, so now everybody's like, yeah, they agree. They should have went back to HBO Max. I'm like, y'all should have never changed the name. Y'all were just dumb. And I think they went back to it because we've been dead naming it. I mean, I was the whole time. But anyway, so let me hit my banner. And now, without further ado, let's get into this Buffy story. So earlier today, it was officially announced. Well, we already knew for months that we were getting a Buffy reboot. Everybody was wondering who's going to be on the show, what's going to be about. The only person that we knew that was officially attached to the show, but in a recurring role, was none other than Sarah Michelle Gellar. We had no idea who the new Slayer was going to be. We had no idea who the new Slayer's friends was going to be. We have no idea who the new big bad was going to be. She did mention there's a new Sunnydale. She did mention that in the video that I'm going to play y'all in a minute. But now, about 3 hours ago, Sarah Michelle Gellar posted a video up on her IG, and I'm going to play the video for y'all also, to reveal that our new Slayer is none other than Ryan Kiera Armstrong. Now, for those of you who are not familiar who she is, Ryan Kiera Armstrong, well, I've seen a lot of stuff she was in. She was in that horrible-ass Firestarter reboot where Zac Efron played her father. She was actually good in it, even though she got a Razzie Award nomination. I don't think she won, but she got a Razzie Award nomination, which I thought was a little shady. I'm like, you know what? When it comes to the kids, don't put the kids in the nominations. Y'all can do the adults, but a little kid, it's not their fault. They're in a crappy movie. So she was in that, and then she was also in Star Wars Skeleton Crew. She kind of annoyed me in that show, but that was probably due to the writing and all this stuff. And it kind of makes me wonder if she's going to be the new Slayer. Will she? Is she still? Are we getting a Star Wars Skeleton Crew season 2, or is that just done? Because quiet as it's kept, the Star Wars shows really ain't been doing it for me. I mean, we have Andor, which I've still not got, even though it just officially ended. The series finale was yesterday. I haven't watched not one episode of season 2, so I got to get around to watching that. But anyway, so Ryan Kiera Armstrong basically got the part. She's our new chosen one, and she will be a lead opposite Sarah Michelle Gellar in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, which has a pilot order at Hulu. Now Armstrong will play the new Slayer in the Untitled Buffyverse project, which Gellar executive produces, in addition to reprising her signature role as Buffy Summers. Now, Oscar winner Chloe Zhao is directing the pilot, and Chloe Zhao, for those of you who are not familiar, she directed The Eternals. I don't think The Eternals. I don't look. I know a lot of people are have mixed feelings about The Eternals, but I didn't think it was as bad as everybody was trying to make it out to be. And they said the pilot was written by Nora and Lila Zuckerman. Now, no additional information has been provided about the project, referring to it as the next chapter in the Buffyverse, which comes from 20th Century and Searchlight TV, or 20th Television, I should say, because it's not 20th Century Fox anymore. Now, the character played by Armstrong is described in casting materials as an introverted high school student, which I think is actually a good way for them to approach it. Whereas when we got Buffy Summers, she was an extrovert. She was a girl that was outgoing. She was a cheerleader. She, did all the kind of like the popular girl stuff until she started developing her powers and slaying vampires. And then everybody started looking at her as the weirdo. Hence why when she comes to Sunnydale, the girl that was perceived as the normal Valley girl cheerleader type went and hung out with the nerds, which, well, they were considered nerds. And nerds were uncool back then. Now nerds are cool, which is kind of bizarre, but it's funny how the tables have turned. But when I was growing up, nerds was not cool at all. But now it's like being a nerd is not a bad thing. So they said there was some symbolism in Armstrong's casting as Gellar's spiritual successor. The actresses' names, Ryan Kiera Armstrong and Sarah Michelle Gellar, share the same cadence, but it was Armstrong's acting chops that won her the role. This is what Gellar said. And Sarah also said the reason why she came back to the show was because she said that in these divided times, she wanted to provide people some comfort. And I feel like because I did grow up with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like I was in high school when the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer were playing high school students, so I could definitely relate to that world. And, in the 90s, growing up in the 90s, I was in high school. So being a part of that whole world and relating to a lot of the subject matter that was going up in there, and then the supernatural stuff being a metaphor for actual things in real life, I feel like that also laid the groundwork for shows like The Walking Dead, where they're saying like, oh, the humans are far worse than the vampires and the supernatural creatures and all that other stuff. So I'm definitely curious to see where they're going to go with this show, and I hope it doesn't suck. And if it sucks, look, we have the original. So I do have the clip, courtesy of Sarah Michelle Gellar's page. And now we're going to play the clip and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
This process has been hard, and there's been so many parts with like me being out of the country. And there was just sort of like one part of it that I just wanted to ask you, and I wanted to make sure that you were okay with.
Okay.
How do you feel about helping me save the world?
Good.
You want to be my chosen one? Will you stand by my side and save the world? Yeah. Ryan, we all love you. And from the second we all saw your tape, there was nobody else in our eyes that could do it, that we wanted to do it with. And I'm so excited to stand by your side and have you be my partner on this journey.
This is so exciting. Oh my God.
So I hope it's a yes.
Yes, for sure, yes. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Welcome to New Sunnydale.
Thanks for having me.
Ryan, you've earned it. There's nobody else in any of our eyes. You are our chosen one.
So honored. Thank you guys. Thank you for trusting me. Yay!
Where's your dad? What did tell him to?
Dad!
What do you think? Are you ready for this journey?
I just kind of overheard what was happening here. And I know that this is exactly where she's supposed to be right now with you on this insane new journey.
I know this process has been.
All right. So there you have it. And so in the comments, we had Emma Caulfield, who you know was on the show. She played Anya. She has tears with 5 heart emojis. Then someone also said, imagine our queen Buffy, the SMG, asking you to be her or our chosen one. And then there was somebody in the comments said, new Slayer confirms. Oh my God, okay, it's happening. Yeah, it was going to happen. But we also got a pilot. We don't necessarily know if we have, like, is it going to go officially 2 series? It's just 1 episode, and I guess I want to see how it is. Hopefully it's strong enough that we do get a full season. One person also said, please bring Angel back. Another person said, New Sunnydale is the title. OMG. Well, that's actually not the title, so I don't know where you got that from. It'll be interesting to hear. Well, hopefully that maybe they'll call it Chosen One or something. I don't know. Or Slayers. I don't know. Maybe they can come up with that. But I don't think we can call it Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because Buffy is Buffy and Buffy is not the main character. It's basically, it's in the Buffy universe. Buffy will be a part of it to try to, I guess, just get the ball rolling. But nevertheless, it's just, it's going to be a regular show. And so, with it being on Hulu, I think it's a good idea because they could really get a little more edgier with it. Like, you can get more crazier with the fight sequences. And Ryan is pretty young, so she can get up there and do a lot of the fight choreography. And this is the time, now that she knows she got the part, y'all can get her in the gym and get to training. It would be cool if they actually had like the stunt team from 8711, the people that do like John Wick and a lot of those type of movies. If they could do something like that, that would be cool. If they could really up it with the fights and stuff for the show. But since we ain't getting Blade, might as well just get, we just got to settle for Buffy. So, shout out to y'all. Shout out to Ryan, Kiera, Armstrong, and shout out to Sarah Michelle Gellar. And I just think it's great that the show is finally happening, and now we'll probably get it at the end of the year. But you already know me, I'm binging the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series because I want to refresh my brain, and I'm in my nostalgia bag, so I watch a lot of classic shows that I grew up on because it provides comfort in the times of stress. Like Buffy, like Sarah Michelle Gellar said, is the reason why she came back on board for this franchise. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story? Are you excited to hear that, yes, we finally got our new Buffy? We finally got our new Slayer, and the show's happening. So, yeah, I definitely want to hear from you guys. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. I was like, I got to make sure I closed up everything. Robert's in the building. All right. Okay, so now let's move on. And let's get into some serious news. I wanted to get the light stuff out of the way, so now we can get into some more serious stuff. Now, the Cassie Diddy case is still, the Diddy case, I should say, is still ongoing. They're currently questioning Miss Cassandra Ventura. And now this is the day where she gets cross-examined by Diddy's legal team. And here's what we have learned, because now they said, like, you know what, now that she's going to be cross-examined now by the defense attorneys after she gave disturbing details of abuse in her 2-day testimony to prosecutors. So that was yesterday and the day before. Now, Anna Esteval, who was part of a stacked defense counsel for the disgraced rap mogul, began her line of questioning by asking the Me and You singer why she kept coming back during the 11-year relationship. Because, yeah, there was situations where I've had so many people who have written online and even in my comments where they would go, but she kept going back and all this other stuff. We also found out, and I'm like, yeah, but she was abused when you're groomed. Have you never heard of Munchausen syndrome? Like, there are people who just or not Munchausen, sorry. Munchausen is like the thing where they send you to the medical, when your parent is sick in the head and they take the child to the hospital. It's like, oh, they got all these ailments and they don't. Kind of like, I guess what they were saying, what Gypsy Rose Blanchard's mother had was Munchausen's. But it's Stockholm Syndrome is the word I was looking for. So when you have a situation where the girl has been groomed and by this grown-ass man and she's young and naive and he's messed her mind up to the point that she has solely become dependent on him because that's all she knows. She knows the abuse. She knows these things because, remember, she said that she wasn't exposed to a lot of things, including a lot of sexual stuff. But then they tried to throw in her face about, well, Diddy not the first person you was in a relationship with that the man was older. So, and of course, that man, in case y'all probably don't know, was the producer Ryan Leslie, who Cassie was with before she got with Diddy. And some people believe that her getting with that Diddy came along and took her from Ryan Leslie. But I always say you can't take somebody from someone that ain't willing to go unless it's straight up kidnapping. So she went and she then asked Ventura to read aloud a series of texts the singer sent her now ex, including that one that read, "I'm a very lucky woman," and another that tried to paint the songstress as needy, saying, "I haven't talked to you at all. I know you can take 3 minutes out of your day to talk to me and you don't even try." However, the temperature in the courtroom heated up when Esteval began to press Ventura on another text, in which he said, "I'm always ready to freak off, LOL," and then shared more racy messages from her. But I want to know what the conversation was with how it was initiated from Diddy. What did he respond as? Because what you're not going to do is post up my post without where was the context. Because the problem with a lot of people, y'all like, I won't say y'all, but I'm just talking about people in general. A lot of times people will read a headline, people will read certain things and don't look at the facts and don't look at the context. Because that's what I want to know, what the context was. Now, I'm sure when she was in a relationship, she said it before that she was all for the freak offs, that she was liking all this other stuff but at the same time, she wanted to have Diddy to herself exclusively because that was her man. He wanted to feel like that was her husband and all this other stuff. But no, Diddy was looking at her as another piece of pussy that he could just throw around, like another one of his little girls that he could just go in and out of whenever he he felt like it. And so Cassie probably thought in her mind that she was the special one, especially them times when there was stories going around that she would be a little shady towards Kim Porter and a bunch of other stuff because she thought, oh, she was that girl. And, oh, you the baby mama or whatever the case was. These are the stories that's coming out. And if that was the case in certain situations, okay. But not excusing the behavior, but when you have someone who is playing women against each other, which people are very good at, y'all fighting over the same man because the money, the power, the access, and he makes you feel like you're the most special person in the world. When you have men who love bomb, who are mentally manipulative. Child, you already know I'm gonna get tongue tied with certain words. So Diddy is not a stranger, is no stranger to playing mental gymnastics to people when it comes to things. So I still look at it as that he was older, he knew better, she was younger. She was not even in situations, but she probably was no angel either. And there were certain things in there. But regardless of whatever the situation was, that does not excuse the fact that he would get extremely violent. He was throwing things and he would beat her ass. Because some people would say the same thing about Tina Turner. Why did she stay with him? And why did she stay with Ike as long as she did? Until she got the courage to leave. So unless you've been in those situations, then I don't think people should judge. I also think that if you lack critical thinking skills, which is a pet peeve of mine, and people cannot think critically, then I don't think you should speak on it either, because I get so sick of, well, why they do this? Why they do that? She greedy and she wanted it. And I was like, what? Like dumbass, bussy, mad ass up on social media. I was like, you know what? First of all, sir, you should not be talking about anybody in any type of situation when you abuse your own damn kids. I don't want to hear from no man that sat and had grown women throwing their coochies in underage boys' face because you didn't want them to turn out to be homosexuals. So I don't want to hear nothing. When you sit about there having your young sons have sex with grown women, which in my opinion, isn't that the definition of molestation? Where a woman of age is having sex with an underage child. I don't care if it's a man because if it was a man doing it to a little girl, y'all would want his head on a pike. But it's okay when it's boys, when it's done to boys, because it's always about boys, rite of passage, and that sort of thing. No, abuse is abuse. So let's stop making excuses for abuse because y'all had a problem with it and everybody was outraged when it was Kanye doing it to his cousin, which, yeah, by definition, that's a bit incestuous, but still. If it's same-sex stuff, y'all be mad. If it's a dude doing it to a little girl, y'all be mad. But when it's a girl doing it to a guy, all of a sudden everybody's morals go out the window. Everybody got an excuse. Go, oh, yeah, man. If that boy can't think for himself, he can't wipe his own ass correctly. If he can't pay his own bills or put clothes on his back or food in his belly on his own, he ain't no damn man. If you can't rent an apartment at 15 or 14 or 12, you ain't no fucking man. So get off my line with that. So, oh wait, let me show y'all what the lawyer looked like, the one that cross-examined Cassie. So yeah, there she is. So what else? Okay, so now they also said, oh, this is the part I had that cackled, and that's making me think like, okay, so Cassie, you was probably up in here trying to be nice to him because with this next story we're going to talk about with the Tootsie Roll, I'm starting to think you couldn't have been talking about the diddler. She said, quote, I can't wait to stare at some big black dick. This is what she said in a text to Combs on August 7, 2009. You must have been talking about one of them scrippers that you was going to have to, bring into the room because you couldn't have been talking about Diddy. Diddy and big black dick in the same sentence? That can't be possible. Because I think his crotch is like Andrew Tate, non-existent. There's a picture going around on social media. I wish I would have had this to show y'all. Andrew Tate shirtless in a pair of shorts. It literally looked like he got a coochie. Like, I'm like, damn, where is the bulge? And everybody in the comments was commenting on the fact that there looked like a lot of room in them shorts. Like, he ain't got no, you don't even see like meat, potatoes, bulge. You don't see nothing. It literally looked like he's missing parts. Like, literally, it's like a Ken doll in them shorts. But anyway, so they said, however, it was a second explicit text that the singer wrote later that day in which she graphically described that she couldn't wait for her then boyfriend to do to her and finally pushed her over the edge. Ventura immediately asked the judge for a break after the raunchy text had read, after the text was read. Now they said the singer who was 8 months pregnant was seen grabbing her belly with both of her hands at the time. I feel like this is horrible. The fact that y'all had this case around the time that she's pregnant. But then again, they're like, look, we already had this set for May. We can't sit up in here and predict when you was going to spread your legs for your husband and get pregnant. Like, it is what it is. I don't care if you was about to be a week away from getting pregnant. You was going to have to come in and testify. So, on one hand, I feel bad for her, but look, the timing is the timing. So now her husband, Alex Fine, excuse me, who was the father of her kids, was present inside the courtroom. And there he is, with the shades on. Now, this is the third day of testimony, continuing with more messages about Ventura and Combs' sex life being read. In the text, Ventura spoke of the trust she had for the I'll Be Missing You rapper, writing, I think that I have to trust you beyond it just being sexual. Do you know what I mean? In order for me to be more open with the things we do in bed, this aggressive sexual side of me. The defense also questioned Long Way to Go singer on whether the R-word lawsuit she filed against Combs in November of 2023 ruined his career, to which she replied, I could understand that, yeah. But my thing is, I could understand what them saying, like, yeah, do you think that the violation of the situation is the straw that broke the camel's back, the thing that got this whole ball rolling? And I do believe it has, but can you say, like, do you think it ruined his career? No, Diddy ruined Diddy's career. You can't put that all off on her. It's like, yeah, she was the one that finally was able to break through with the many years that people had stuff going against Diddy and would either get shut down or afraid to come forward because they would get unalived or God knows what. Because people have no idea the length of power and influence that Diddy had in New York City and beyond. He was one of the most powerful people in hip-hop. So, if you can make somebody disappear, whatever the case is, trust and believe Diddy could do it. And Diddy crossed over into many situations. He wasn't just some chitlin circuit hip-hop artist. He was in them spaces with some of the wealthiest of white folks. So, he was on the A-list. he was in the rooms with the likes of the elite of the elites. So if you thinking that Diddy's influence and money and power, and of course, and with him having all of that, he had those people showing up to his parties. He had some of the creme de la creme showing up to his parties. I'm not saying it was all at the freak offs because we don't know that, but for the most part, they were hanging out with him at his infamous white party that he would have out in the Hamptons, and other establishments that he would have them at. He had his hand all, MTV stayed up his ass. Hot 97 stayed up his ass. 105.1 stayed up his ass. Like, he had radio and MTV and all these other places on lock. So people have to understand the overall length and the reach that he had in a lot of the things that was going on. So yeah, that's why a lot of people didn't come forward and stuff. But I do feel like what happened with the whole lawsuit and the video and all that stuff that was coming out, yes, that played into steamrolling of his career being ruined. But we can't say and be like she ruined his career. He ruined his career because if he knew how to handle that damn temper of his, if he didn't go around thinking because I'm the most powerful man in the world and I got all the money in the world and I'm bored, because a lot of these rich people get like that. When you've been able to, your money has allowed you to get and do so many things, you try to push as a sociopath, thinking like, putting myself in the mind of a sociopath. You do whatever, you give them an inch, they want a mile. And it seemed like the freak in Diddy knew no bounds. And so he would just continue to do whatever he wanted to do to whoever, and thought that because of his money, whatever, and the many and people that he surrounded himself with that would be so hungry for a little bit of, for $1 coming from him, that they would do anything. Hence why he kept tabs on her, had security keeping tabs on her. Whenever she would misbehave, he had his security taking things from her. So, to wrap all this up, they also said while further addressing freak offs which pertain to when Ventura engaged in sexual activity with Combs and an escort, Esteval followed through on the defense strategy to portray her client as a swinger and not a criminal. So they also said, did you understand freak offs were consistent with Mr. Combs' description of the swinger's lifestyle? And then she asked, prompting the mom of three to reply, related in a sexual way, they're very different. Ventura then detailed witnessing Combs' withdrawal from opioid use after freak offs and said she would consider him an addict. Well, we all could tell he was an addict. That's why he always had them shades on indoors, not only indoors, but at night. I'm like, you're going to ruin your damn eyes. But what it was, he was probably trying to hide the fact that them pupils was dilated. She also noted on the stand that he would be irritated and his mood would go up and down following his extended drug use. Leading to the trial, Reuters reported lead defense attorney Mark Agnafilo planned to smear Ventura's reputation during the trial by claiming she and Combs were in a mutually violent relationship, saying, quote, I think we're probably going to refer to that as DD, because I was like, can't say that, on YouTube. And despite the defense team's attempts to hurt Ventura's credibility, the numb singer, who was expecting her third child, firmly took the stand Tuesday with more than 5 hours. And funny enough, shout out to Mims, Make It Make Sense. He's still in New York doing the whole trial situation. I did see a little video he did earlier. He was like, he felt like the attorneys that's cross-examining Cassie are doing a horrible job. They said it looked like people want to nod off and go to sleep because this trial is boring. I'm like, duh. Have you never served in a court case? I'm like, court is boring. I was juror number 1, so I had to deliver the verdict when I last served. But yeah, when you on trial or whatever, court cases, y'all be watching too much Law and Order SVU or Law and Order, which take your pick with any of them Dick Wolf shows. Y'all watch too much TV because if y'all really think that court is like what you see on TV, then you ain't never served on a jury. But yeah, court is boring. That's why I was like, I'm not standing outside at no damn courthouse trying to get up in there just so I can say I was there. I'm like, I know what court gives. I've served on a jury. That shit is boring. So I was like, no, I'd rather just sit my ass home or do what I got to do in other places because I was busy earlier. So, and come in and just like when y'all drop all the interesting details, I will see what's the tea and I will give y'all my commentary. And commentary y'all just got. So now I want to say, all of you, what do you guys think of this story? I'm sure there'll be more coming out in regards to the whole thing. I think they said they wanted to cross-examine Cassie another day. I'm like, y'all can't just wrap this all up in one day. Like, y'all don't need a week to try to get all this testimony from Cassie. And I hope y'all got more people that's coming to the, coming up to the front to give their side of the story. I did hear some word that Aubrey O'Day is supposed to testify. I don't know if that's been officially confirmed, but I need to look further in that. But if it does happen, it's going to be a mess. I would like to see if she would actually testify as well as Dawn Richard, because remember, she filed the lawsuit against him as well. So yeah, I'll be definitely keeping y'all abreast of the story as it develops, because I'm sure there's going to be more coming out. So I want to hear from you all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Magical Mermaids in the building. Said motion 88, witness 33, juror 14. Bless me. Oh, you talking about because look, because I think it's because I'm drinking this damn Red Bull. That's probably why. But I was like, I needed it because I was tired. Like I was nodding off. I was even watching that, and it is part of today's topic. I was watching Nene's interview with Tamar, and I started noticing I was dozing off. And I didn't know if it was because Nene's a horrible freaking interviewer or it was just I'm tired. I'm going to go with the former, but I am a little tired. It's like, girl, I'll be telling y'all, not everybody needs a podcast. She's one of them. But we'll talk about that when we get to that point. But anyway, let's move on, y'all. Because while Diddy is currently on trial, trying to fight for his freedom, and Cassie holding that freedom in her hands, among others, I guess. There's another woman that came out with a new lawsuit and said Diddy all-worded her. And not only that, but she said his Peen, because, we was talking about earlier, Cassie to my, I can't wait to get me some big black dick. This lady said, child, Diddy got himself a Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll. He got a Tootsie Roll to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right, to the side, to the side, to the side, to the side. Now dip, baby dip. Dip, baby dip. He got a Tootsie Roll. A Tootsie Roll. Don't want no short dick, man. That's what she said. Look, now y'all can't say I don't be entertaining y'all in these when I be doing this damn show. So the woman, and they said this happened back in 2001. So the woman, identified as, of course, Jane Doe, claimed the bad boy records founder took her to his bedroom, where he locked the door, pinned her down to the bed by her neck, pinned her down to the bed by her neck. I'm like, damn. And told her, I'm going to suck the life out of you. What are you, a vampire? After a night of partying in July 2001, according to court documents obtained by TMZ. Now, the diddler, who you know is on trial in Manhattan federal court for trafficking and racketeering, continued to hold the woman down by her arm as he dropped trowel, and pulled out his child, not itty bitty bitty. You know what? I need Nicki Minaj to do a remix and call it itty bitty ditty. That would be funny. Now, this is what they said. The following detail: the accuser alleged that she was overpowered during the ordeal and repeatedly screamed for Combs, now 55, to stop, but he instead kept thrusting and eventually skeeted on her body. He claimed in the documents. They didn't say skeet. I had to change it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. The disgraced mogul then laid naked on the bed as the woman frantically cleaned herself and rushed to unlock the door, where a bodyguard standing outside pointing her towards the exit. Damn, he's like, right over there. Meaning that the bodyguard, I guess they used to it. The woman who said she met the star in May of 2001 and hung out with him multiple times at Combs' New York City recording studio, nightclubs, and a restaurant, said his staff drove her and a friend home after the alleged assault. She said the I'll Be Missing You rapper called her several times after the shocking ordeal and invited him to his infamous white party, but she never returned his calls. Now, while the traumatic incident left the woman feeling vulnerable and withdrawn, she recalled feeling relieved that she wouldn't feel any pain during the chilling encounter when she saw, chill, not, I am screaming right now. So, yeah, she said that she was relieved that she wouldn't feel any pain during the chilling encounter when she saw the length and girth of Combs' diminutive phallus comparing it to a large Tootsie Roll court child. Now, first of all, if anybody ever compared my dick to a goddamn Tootsie Roll, I would be so hurt. Ooh, I feel bad. First of all, I feel bad for all of y'all out there that can't work the middle because you think too little. Shout out to the micro Peen. I mean, look, if the tongue could do what it need to do, then let me just move on. She also claimed that she underwent psychotherapy as a result to the alleged sexual assault. Now, Combs' legal team did not immediately, of course they didn't, because they busy, fighting for his life in the damn courtroom. That's why his legal team ain't respond. They busy working on his current case. Now, the latest lawsuit, as you know, comes as Combs' explosive federal sex trafficking trial kicked off, blah, 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 so on and so forth. We don't need to go through all the details because I've given y'all just enough, during, the past couple of days that we've been talking about it. But what I will tell y'all is this. Okay, this is funny, by the way. Miss Mamas was like, damn, if you was going to rate me, at least do it with something give me something I can feel, in the words of En Vogue. But now, look, I'm not the only one out here cackling, making fun, because 50 Cent went and did the same thing when he had heard that the diddler was out here allegedly R-wording people with a Tootsie Roll. So let's get to that story. So now on Wednesday, the In the Club rapper, whose real name is Curtis James, not the whole government, they said Curtis James Jackson III, trolled Combs on Instagram with several comments about the Bad Boy Records founder's graphic federal court case, saying, quote, after listening to today's testimony, I think now he called him the diddler too. I thought that word get around. I think the diddler should have took the plea off him. I said the same thing. This is what he mockingly wrote via social media of Combs, who pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges. The ish that he said they are saying is beyond me. So what do you think? This ish crazier than regular crazy. Now, 50 Cent, who tried to hold Combs accountable for more than a decade prior to his September 2024 arrest, additionally posted about the various jaw-dropping topics discussed throughout the I'll Be Missing You hitmaker's ongoing trial. Now, what I'm wondering also is, didn't 50 Cent say he was doing a Diddy documentary that was supposed to come on Netflix or something? What happened with that? Unless he waiting to find out what the verdict is, and then they'll be like, okay, that's the last part. Kind of like, they still waiting to come up with the third act for the Michael Jackson biopic. Maybe this is what he's trying to do with the docuseries or whatever it is that he's doing over there. But I do have this thing where it says, defendant Combs released plaintiff Jane Doe's neck and then held her arm down while using his other hand to swiftly unbuckle his belt and pants before pulling out his erect bare-skin penis, which appeared to be the length and girth of a large Tootsie Roll. Now, plaintiff Jane Doe recalls feeling relieved when she saw defendant Combs' penis because she knew it wouldn't hurt as much when he R-worded her due to the lack of length and girth. She thought his penis was a itty-bitty ditty, and that's what they posted on the situation. So he also went and said, LOL, that's why he in the corner M-word urbating. Masturbating. Y'all know. Now, a screenshot of the court documents, shared by 50 Cent, described Combs allegedly hold the plaintiff. I already read that part. And with the whole civilization with the itty-bitty ditty. Look, y'all already know. Y'all give 50 Cent a little catnip. He's going to go in and let have in this situation. And I find this to be an absolute cackle. And so does 50 Cent. So I want to say to you all, what do you guys think of this story? I tell you, child, this is never an adult moment with this stuff. I'm like, let me find out you got an itty bitty ditty. I mean, yesterday I did call him Lil Diddy when we was talking about him he was in the corner, playing with himself and all the other stuff. Like he was, like you had, like that scene in True Lies when you had when Arnold Schwarzenegger had the tape recorder in the corner and was pretending to be somebody else while he was getting his wife to do a little striptease, like they was having a moment, and then she's off in the, so it kind of felt like that, like you was off in the corner like the creep, while your girl's out here being used up, being a little hoe, because that's basically how you was treating her. Like she wasn't even your girl, like she was just some thing that you paid for. that is fulfilling your fantasies or whatever the case is. So all of this stuff coming out, and you already know that there was going to be commentary from 50 Cent. It was only a matter of time, but the Tootsie Roll thing, that is shady, and I wonder if there'll be anybody else that'll come out and compare his Peen to that. So yeah, I want to hear from you also. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Hold on, let me close those windows before I get to my next topic. I see we got comments. Itty bitty Diddy committee. Can you imagine somebody joining that? Melting your mouth because it's not big enough for you. Okay. I laughed my ass off when I saw it. You ain't the only one. Let me see you do the Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll. On that Tootsie Roll to the left. I said, child, yeah, I was doing that. I was doing that song. I don't know if you just came in, but yeah, when I first started this story, I was doing a Tootsie Roll song and mashed it up with Short Dick Man. I'm glad I ain't asked Alexa to play it, because that shit would have came right on up in here. It would have been a rap. I used to love that Candyman rap song, Knockin' Boots. Mm-hmm. All right. Hold on now. All right. Let's move on, y'all. Well, let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion. So yesterday it came out, there was a video where I guess Tory Lanez legal team came out and said that apparently Tory Lanez is innocent, that apparently he didn't pow Megan in the foot like she was Della Reese and Harlem Nights. And now Megan's team, I was like, yeah, I'll bring this up today. But then Megan's legal people came out and was like, that's a BS. That ain't what went down. And what I'm wondering is, and then I also heard that they didn't even bring this to the courts. So if this is vital information that you have, why didn't you turn it in or try to retry the case? I don't even know if they can retry the case at this point. Like, they went through the court of law. He was found guilty. And this whole thing about this one, child, no shade, but I would never be the person where it's just like, I'm going to follow that code of snitches get stitches. Fuck out of here. My life isn't, if my life is on the line, I'm not doing a bid for nobody. I don't give a goddamn who it is. And for people to think that that makes you a man or that makes you an adult to sit and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to take the rap. You guys to be out your damn mind to have that kind of mindset. And it's sad that, yes, the Black community really thinks that if you fight for your life and if you're supposed to be innocent, that you're just going to allow yourself to do 10 years in prison? For what? If I didn't shoot you, I'm not going to jail. And where was this person at the time when this case was going on? So now all of a sudden, because Tory was busy fighting for his life in jail to get knifed up 14 times like a damn carved turkey, now all of a sudden y'all want to come with this new stuff? I'm not buying it. But anyway, let's get into it. So now they say it's been nearly 5 years since Tory Lane pow-powed Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. Despite the Canadian artist getting convicted and sentenced to prison in 2023, so here it is, 2025, and wasn't he doing time during the trial? So yeah, now all of a sudden, damn near 2 years later, you want to come out and say that what happened didn't happen? Like, get off my line with that. So they also said there are still plenty who refuse to believe he did it. And of course, including Chris Brown, who we're going to get into in a second. On Wednesday, May 14th, the Sorry for What Creators legal team, Unite the People, held a press conference to reveal the statement from bodyguard Bradley James, who allegedly claimed that Kelsey Harris was the one who pulled the trigger. However, as Megan's attorney Alex Spiro emphasized, the matter was already been resolved in the court of law. In a statement to XXL, he said Tory Lanez was tried and convicted by a jury of his peers, and his case was properly adjudicated through the court system, which I don't know if this might be a shot to y'all, but that's how these happen. If you had all this information, if you had all what you need to have, you should have presented it at the time when this man was on trial fighting for his freedom. But you didn't do it. So you assed out. All of y'all. You just sound dumb right now. It just looks like y'all just want to have a moment. And it seems like everybody trying to outshine this Diddy case from Blake Lively and that mess that she got going on with Taylor Swift. Everybody trying to outshine the diddler. It ain't working. And the other one, Kim Kardashian out in France testifying because she talking about she was almost all worded and robbed for her jewelry and all this other. Everybody trying to outshine the Diddy case. Nice try though. Now y'all trying to do it. They said it's not a political matter. This is a case of a violent assault that was resolved in the court of law. Now, according to Lanez's legal team, James, who reportedly worked for Harris at the time, came forward to say the Canadian singer only got involved to smack the gun out of her hand. He also allegedly claimed that at least by that point, she'd already fired 3 shots at Megan. It's important to remember that Harris received immunity during the Say It's artist trial. Yeah, I did hear that too, that she got immunity. And I'm like, why is it that she needed that then, if all of this stuff is coming forward? So in essence, they said Mr. Peterson, who was Tory Lanez, by the way, I think his first name is Daystar, never pow-powed anybody, never even touched that gun. He never even fired the gun. Attorney Walter Roberts stated per Vibe. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other man's arm, pow-pows came from the passenger side. Now, whether or not, I'll say, look, whether the story holds up is ultimately for the courts to decide, but either way, Unite the People is now requesting Lane's sentence be commuted or that he be pardoned entirely once out of the hospital. See, now this what didn't I say that's what it felt like? All of a sudden he getting knifed up in prison, and now y'all want to sit up and say, well, once he get out of the hospital, because we got all this information now and this evidence, and I'm using air quotes as I say it, now all of a sudden y'all want to sit up in here and say that, well, they need to reduce his sentence. But where's the evidence? I'm not going by hearsay. If the evidence was presented the first time when he was in court and a jury of 12, with 2 alternates, decided that he was guilty, it is what it is. I don't think the trial could be tried again. So you had your chance. Y'all did not come with all the evidence that you needed, or you brought what you brought at the time of the case. The people went in the room. They all collectively decided a guilty or not guilty. Obviously, they chose guilty, which is why he's in jail. Now he got to finish out his decade-old sentence. It is what it is. So let him just hope that when he gets released from the hospital, from getting knifed up like Chad Meeks Martin in the last 2 Scream movies, that he survives and does his term in jail. Because the person that knifed him up apparently is spending the rest of his life in prison, already had a life sentence on his situation, so he ain't got nothing to live for. He has nothing to lose. So that's what happened from what I heard with him. And I think it was like a Latino dude with a bunch of tattoos and stuff all over him. Because I seen the picture of the man that damn near tried to take Daystar's life. So I guess that's all I got to say on that. It's like, look, y'all had your chance. I guess basically all I got to say on this is just snooze, you lose. So I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story in regards of this evidence that came out regarding Tory Lanez or lack thereof? Because now they're trying to say, oh yeah, it wasn't him. But didn't y'all try to prove that before in court? And people was like side-eyeing it and didn't buy it. So y'all keep coming with new stuff and we keep looking at y'all like, who's it? So, and then they said, y'all didn't even submit the new evidence in front of a judge or anything. So I'm calling cap on all of this. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. It does happen, but not very. Yeah, a lot of times in jail, you will get people that have done time, but I mean that are in jail that are innocent. Very few. And that's another thing too. It's literally at this point, I do agree that it does feel very much like he's, it's his side, her side. So in the beginning, it's the truth. And at this point, it's just like, you know what? I don't think any of this can be proven. It is what it is. Like, you had your opportunity to prove all the stuff you need to prove. And this is why y'all are where you are. Well, he's in jail and Megan's out here about to sell swimwear. All right, now let's move on and let's talk about Chris Brown, who should have been worried about himself not going to jail instead of being out here talking about some free damn Tory. So that's what he posted on Instagram. Literally 24 hours before he found himself in handcuffs over in the UK, he decided, free Tory. Here you go trolling. And this is why I think a lot of times I be trying to root so hard for Chris Brown. I be over here trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, yeah, he's changed or whatever. I side-eye it every time though. But I always I give him a little bit, just a little bit, a smidge. And then he go and do stupidness like this. He started with his misogyny. It don't seem like he ever learned his lesson. But yeah, his past came back to haunt him because with that little situation, remember when he popped that producer upside the head with a bottle in the club? Well, it looked like that case came back to haunt him because he found himself in handcuffs. He's about to do his stadium tour, I believe, overseas, and that's what had happened. So, according to Billboard, Chris Brown was arrested at his hotel in Manchester, UK on Thursday morning, that would be today, May 15th, over what British authorities allege was an attack on a music producer at a London nightclub 2 years ago. Maybe you should have stayed his ass in the US. According to the Independent, Brown, who's 36, was detained by Metropolitan Police at the 5-star Lowry Hotel in Salford just hours after he arrived on a private jet. The singer was arrested I'm glad he got on a private jet because the way that our transportation's working out here, we ain't never going to survive with the lack of people that run in these airports. So they said that the singer was arrested on suspicion of grievous bodily harm, with officials telling the paper, quote, a 36-year-old man was arrested at a hotel in Manchester shortly after 2 a.m. on Thursday, May 15th, on suspicion of grievous bodily harm without naming Brown per protocol. He has been taken into custody where he remains. The arrest relates to an incident at a venue in Hanover Square in February 19, 2023. The investigation is being led by detectives from the Central West Area Basic Command Unit. Now, according to the paper, producer Abraham Dior accused Brown of smashing him over the head with a bottle and kicking him at the Tape nightclub on that night, with Dior previously telling The Sun on Sunday that Brown hit me over the head 2 or 3 times. My knee collapsed as well. Dior has also lodged a civil complaint against Brown for $16 million, seeking damages for injuries and losses as a result of the alleged incident, according to the Independent. Now, at press time, a spokesperson for Brown has not returned requests for comment, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But here's the thing. This one has me wondering, because I was thinking, like, you know what? Maybe, did he forget that? I mean, I don't know, because you know how sometimes when they say don't come back to a certain country or a certain state or whatever, because if you step foot on our soil, there's a warrant for your arrest, and he probably forgot. Because, you know, Chris Brown be running out here thinking, oh, I can do whatever I want, and nobody's going to do whatever to me. And then it was like, yeah, Chris Brown got a show. So we're about to wait until he actually crash land in the UK. And then when we find out where he at, oh, we're going to do the swoop down and arrest him. So they also say, oh, child, of course, you know, they got to bring up his past, which, of course, you know, the beatation of Riri, aka Rihanna, who's on to her 3rd baby and living her best life, when he was charged with felony assault. And they said that incident resulted in the UK denying Brown a visa to travel there for a short tour in 2010. Now, in 2012, he was involved in a brawl with Drake and his entourage at a New York nightclub that injured 8 people following an altercation with Frank Ocean over a parking space in West Hollywood in 2013. Damn, you another one like the dealer. Y'all got short fuses. The singer was also arrested for felony assault for punching a man outside a hotel in Washington, D.C. in 2013, which led to him being charged with a probation violation and a sentence of 130 days in lockup. He was also allegedly among the men behind an assault on a man during a basketball game at Palms Casino Resort in 2015, an incident his team denied he was involved in. Well, of course, his team's going to say they worked for him. In 2016, Brown was arrested at his home on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon, and a year later was court ordered to stay 100 yards away from ex-girlfriend Karrueche Tran after she told the court he repeatedly threatened her. Meanwhile, they ran into each other at Coachella, because I seen that video. And that was recent Coachella this year, 2025, last month. Now, among other similar incidents, Brown and several members of his entourage were named in a lawsuit after an alleged assault following one of Singer's shows in Fort Worth, Texas, in which Brown and several accomplices allegedly brutally and severely beat 4 men. That's the latest case. And so what is name draw about 5 different incidences over the years? At what point do we hold people accountable for the things that they do instead of making excuses? Because I already know, like, if you go on the neighborhood talk or the shade room comments, it's a lost damn cause over there. You're going to get people that are so in the damn cult, and they're going to make excuses for whatever he does. You can like the artist's music. You can be like their towns or whatever. But when they do dumb stuff, why is it a problem for people to call people out on the things that they do? Why is that a problem? Like, y'all can't separate the two? The fact of the matter is, like, yeah, I like them. They're immensely talented, and Chris Brown is talented, but he's someone who allows his temper and his attitude and everything. Well, basically, I just stick with temper because that just pretty much checks all the boxes. He allows his inner saboteur to take over and his temper to get in his own way and block his blessings. He could be such a much bigger star at this point if he knew how to control that negative side of himself. He's still out here winning Grammys. He's still out here doing stadium tours. And he probably feels like, because at the end of the day, people are going to support his music and stuff regardless, that he could do whatever he wants to people. But you have to also realize that when you do certain things to people, there are repercussions to your actions. So yeah, he's for those who aren't aware, like I was saying, like, he's doing a stadium tour, but this is the European leg of his Breezy Bowl XX tour, which is slated to kick off on June 8th at Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam. It was not known in press time if Brown's arrest will hamper his ability to play a planned series of June shows in the UK on the tour. So is he in the UK right now for a couple of weeks to rehearse for the tour? Because I'm like, why are you in the UK right now if your tour doesn't kick off until June 8th? It's May 15th. So I'm guessing that, yeah, he's, I guess, trying to get the lay of the land with how everything's going to be set up, and then be out there and rehearse for a couple of weeks until he's ready to kick off the tour. But there were some people that jumped in the comments. Shout out to the Jasmine brand, because people was out there dragging him because they were like, how you out here talking about free Tory Lanez and now you get locked up? So one person said, where's Wendy? We haven't heard anything from or about her in weeks, and she was gaining so much traction. I don't trust. Oh, they talking about Wendy Williams. Well, I think we have talked a bit about Wendy Williams. She's been, she just recently, the last story I did was like last week when she was hanging out with Don Lemon, and allegedly the rumor is that they're working on a show together. She need to get her situation together before y'all could even be talking about doing a joint show. But anyway, so one person said this energy is fake because the ticket sales and sold out stadiums say otherwise. Wait, what are you talking about? What in the comments? Where did they say anything about that his tour is not doing well? Stay on topic, ma'am. Another person said, not Karma collected not one but 2 Negro Infinity Stones. Not Negro Infinity Stones. I'm done. Whilst also ensuring Sean Combs never sees the light of day. Another person said, free CB, living legend, chill, get off my line. Another person said, I hate people and the internet more and more each day. YTF did I even get on here? Why did you? Another person said, damn, I posted a comment on a post for them to take him to. Another person said, mind my business. That man is spiritually in hell. No matter how hard he pop locks, he needs jail or therapy. Another person said, the comments are concerning over an incident that occurred in 2023, all set up based on what? How you gonna sit up here and say all set up based on and you know what's sad about this? A lot of the people that are defending him are women. What is wrong with y'all? Like, I just feel like y'all are just trauma bonders. Y'all like abuse. Y'all like defending abusers. I just don't get it. Child, I'm just gonna have to pray for y'all. So I say all this to say, or just as I usually say, bless your heart. Y'all know what that means when we say bless your heart. It's a Southern term. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Chris Breezy getting himself put in handcuffs after he was out here trolling with some damn free Tory Lanez? Now look at him. Now look at you. All up in jail. Don't know what to do with yourself. So I want to hear from you also. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Felix says, I saw Chris Brown. Yeah. One of my best judges. Apparently I can't read today. You said one of my best Judys is obsessed with this man. Never understood why. Or the comparison to MJ comes from the dancing. I think, like, yeah, there are comparisons there, but then you could say the same thing about Usher, because Usher pretty much went to the school of Michael Jackson as well, in regards of like how he performs and all that other stuff on stage, except no shade. Well, Usher normally keeps himself out of trouble, and he's a showman, so which is why his career has lasted as long as it has. Chris Brown can't keep himself out of trouble. I would compare him more or less to Bobby Brown than some damn Michael Jackson in regards to the behavior. I believe it. It is probably the drugs, because he do look like he be on allegedly, because you know how they be trying to get you. You don't say allegedly. That's how they get you. I believe it might be, because you know he allegedly likes that booger sugar. He be looking like he be doing about 5 lines before he go on the stage anyway. Okay, let me see. Oh, damn, this show is going by quick today. Shoot, this might be my shortest show. We got about 4 more topics left before the end of the show. So before we get to our final 4, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell before we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll also be putting timestamps in the show after the live chat, so that way for those who come in during the playback, and just go right to the topic at hand instead of having to sit through all the banter that we do on our usual live chat. So, all right. Now, without further ado, let's get into this Justin Bieber story. So yesterday, they aired, and I still didn't get around to watching it because I totally forgot. I don't know what I was watching yesterday. Oh, I was watching Novocaine, which actually was pretty good. So I was watching a bunch of other things, and then all of a sudden, I was like, damn, I forgot. And it was already late, so I didn't get to watch it. But TMZ did one of the Investigates episodes. It's on Hulu, of what happened to Justin Bieber. And one of the things that they discussed, one of the many things that they discussed, and we've been hearing about it for a while, is Justin's alleged money woes and a lot of what he's dealing with that. Now they're saying the reason why he sold his music catalog is because he was broke and he needed some coins. You know, he sold it for $200 million. So the 31-year-old pop star who recently boasted about drug use in a shameless post, yeah, he's a big old bong head. Like, they be sitting around, you know, with a bong and getting high all the time. Like, he's a stoner. I wonder if it helps the Ramsey Hunt stuff, because, you know, he got the little situation going on with his face. But it said he made somewhere between 500 million and 1 billion. Damn. How do you blow through $1 billion? If I was a billionaire, trust and believe, my cheap ass would be trying to hold on to every bit of that billion. But they said he blew it all and was in rough financial shape before selling to Blackstone-backed Hypnosis Songs Capital, according to TMZ on Thursday. Now, sources for Justin claim that he was on the verge of financial collapse back in 2022, to the point that he had to sell the rights to his music at the end of the year. Now, insiders also allege that his manager Scooter Braun, had tried to tell him it was a bad idea to sell so early in his career, or at least wait until January 2023 in order to get a tax break, but Justin did not want to wait, and he ended up selling December of 2022. Well, I'm sorry, but if my manager would have told me this is a better time to invest, I would definitely look into it. But you got to be a damn fool. First of all, I'm not selling my music. First, if I'm writing songs, if I have something to do with it, and I know that is my intellectual property that I could pass down to my children, and possibly you could just, why not use those songs where it's like, okay, now somebody hits you up and wants to use your song for a movie or a commercial, whatever that is. It's like, okay, I'll license it, but you give me this for this amount of money, like 500K, $1 million, whatever the case is, that's money in your pocket. Like, why would you give your money away just so you can get a flat fee of $200 million? And then it's like, okay, you got that money, but you don't have any more coming in. Because Justin's not working right now. He busy running around here looking a hot mess, like having his old Kanye West-esque crash outs. And then his wife out here looking miserable. But she ain't that miserable. She's been busy on social media following every damn thing Selena Gomez does while Selena out here living her best life. So they said Justin remains the youngest artist to ever have sold his catalog, and the publication reports that being in dire financial straits had a lot to do with the decision. He shot to fame, as you know, as a 15-year-old with the release of his 2010 single Baby. Now, the A-lister is said to have a net worth of $300 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth, and by comparison, his wife Hailey Bieber is worth $200 million. How the hell is she worth $200 million? What does she do? I mean, I know she's an influencer, and we all know her father was like a D-list actor, but for the most part, I'm like, how the hell is she worth $200 million? It's interesting to note that last month it was reported that Hailey is considering selling her skincare. Oh, she has a skincare brand. Do people actually buy it? She has a skincare brand, Rode, for $1 billion after launching the company nearly 3 years earlier in June of 2022. The model, who's 28, who has been embroiled in fan concern over her marriage to singer Justin Bieber, offers both skincare and limited makeup products through the line, such as blush and peptide lip treatment. The star has hired both JP Morgan and global investment bank Moelis to assist her in finding potential deal options at $1 billion in value, sources told WWD last month. Now, since its launch, Rode sales have been estimated to be around $200 million, but when it comes to a buyer, a sale might be difficult due to the brand being only online, despite talks of the company partnering with a retailer in the future. Yeah, because I'm like, I've never heard of her stuff. And now I know why. And I have friends that work in places like Sephora and a makeup artist. So I need to hit him up and be like, do people actually be using her stuff? Because I don't know any places that, I mean, Sephora's not selling your stuff. You have to go on the internet and buy it. And I guess now in these days with the internet, things are going to be, there's going to be tariffs and all that other stuff. So how are they going to be able to do all of that? So they also said one insider stated they're too risk averse, particularly in this environment. The market is just too uncertain to write that big of a check. And I'm like, I don't know if she's making all this money and she's going to be able to do all this stuff. Who's going to give her $1 billion over a makeup line that's online? So they said, according to the outlet, some buyers are wary at acquiring a brand that is associated with one celebrity and only one retailer. And I'm like, Hailey, you're not hot like that. So I would not be giving her none of that stuff. Now, regardless of are they talking about they mentioned Selena Gomez. Now, since we was talking about it, let's get into her. So there's other similar brands that have also not made any major deals, such as Selena Gomez's Rare Beauty. Didn't they say she's worth $1 billion? I could have sworn that they said her makeup line was doing well. Makeup by Mario and Merit by Catherine Power. An industry source told WWD that it was due to a trailing M&A market as well as additional economic pressure. They said nobody paid $1 billion for Rare Beauty. Nobody paid $1 billion for Makeup by Mario. Why would they pay for Rode? It doesn't even have distribution. So another insider explained that companies such as Rode offer too much risk for potential buyers due to being too young. And that's why I'm like, first of all, you just launched this thing in 2023. We're in 2025. I'm not giving you anything if you only been around for 2 damn years. You need to be around as long as like a decade or something. And then I might consider, the company going for $1 billion. But it just seems like a lot of these young people, y'all just be launching businesses and then try to cash out quick because y'all don't really invest. Y'all need to really maybe you need to take a page out of Kylie Jenner hand. But I think her cosmetic line lasted a minute before she sold her business. And now she out here running behind Timothy Chalamet and showing up at Knicks games. Well, I'll be there tomorrow working at Knicks games, so I'll be seeing if they're there. And I'll let y'all know. But in regards to this whole situation, I do think it was relatively early that Justin decided to sell his musical catalog. He should have waited. But when you out here being reckless with your money, like I said, he grown, he could do whatever he wants with his money. But this is what you do. I just feel like it was just dumb for him to sell it early. And then I was having a conversation with a friend of mine earlier because he was like, oh, I've been watching your videos and stuff and I have thoughts. He wanted to comment on stuff and he thought that the Justin Bieber story got taken down. I was like, no, it's still up there because I look. But sometimes social media do like to play in my face where y'all want to, you want to mute or y'all want to go in and try to pull certain videos and stuff down, but I be seeing certain other influencers. I think certain influencers be hating on me or whatever and try to sabotage my stuff and report stuff, because when you start gaining traction with other people and people can't deliver things the way I deliver it, and a lot of y'all just sit and copy and paste to have no personality, they want to sit and report your stuff so that way their stuff shines. But it's like, you can sabotage my stuff when you want, but this talent is what it is. So hate on the sidelines if you want to. But anyway, getting back to this, he was saying that he was just wasn't liking the fact that people were going in on Scooter Braun about the whole situation about that. I'm team Justin regardless. But I'm like, if the boy owes Scooter Braun $8 million, when they brought in their own auditor from the beginning, they was like, okay, you owe us this much. But then Justin was like, no, I don't think so. We don't owe this, and this. And then they were like, okay, so you brought in your own auditor, and then come to find out you actually owed Scooter more than what was on in the situation. I think I have that. Yeah, because there was somehow that he said he announced his retirement. That's probably why he sold it early, because it's like, you have no money. Yeah, so there was an external audit, because I had to remember what we talked about yesterday, because you already know, once I'm done with the topic, out of sight, out of mind. So there's an external audit and commission by Scooter's company allegedly calculated after a 6-month investigation that Justin owes him over $8 million. The fracas is supposedly connected to Justin's decision to suspend his tumultuous Justice Tour in 2022 when he still had 70 dates left on the schedule. Which is why I always say, like, if it came down to investing in him for an arena tour, I wouldn't do it, because he's a risk in regards of, like, if people are putting all this money into, you know how much it is when you have to go around and try to lock in dates for an arena tour and that sort of thing, especially when there's so much competition out here and so many people are trying to tour at the same time. And here you go canceling your show. You had 90 shows, you only did 20 of them, and then you had 70 more to go, and you decided to cancel the whole thing. All these people putting in their money, they done secured a hotel room, they secured a plane ticket, all this other stuff, and here you go, I can't do it no more. That would piss the fans off. And the investors, because people are investing in you with doing these shows, when you get the sponsors and all that stuff. So yeah, they said that when he announced he was ending the tour early, Justin made note that of the fact that his face had infamously been partly paralyzed by Ramsay Hunt syndrome not long before, explaining that he needed to make my health a priority. Well, now you making it seem like you not, because you out here doing all these damn drugs, according to the reports. So now they said that, yeah, insiders told TMZ the tour promoter AEG had given him a $40 million advance. And this is exactly what I was talking about, where you have these promoters who are investing in you, and then we're giving you an advance, which now we know is $40 million, and saying that he owed them $24 million back because of the cancellation. It's like, yeah, when you don't follow through with your investment, you got to pay that money back. That's not a loan. That's not something that you get to keep. That's a loan. And what people don't realize is that you have to when you're not good on your investment, you better come up with the rest of that money, because otherwise we're taking you to court. Now, Scooter's company, Hybe America, is said to have covered the amount, and Justin supposedly agreed to reimburse the firm in installments over the following decade, only to allegedly stop after one payment. This is per the report. Now, while insiders of Scooter's camp say Justin's team claimed the singer was short of the money, sources in Justin's camp tell a different story, according to the outlet. The Justin insiders told TMZ his then business manager, Lou Taylor, deduced after looking through documents that he had overpaid Scooter $26 million in commission. Now, Lou's bombshell was followed by an internal audit by Hybe, determining that Justin had in fact, paid Scooter $1 million less than the manager was owed, an amount that Scooter reportedly elected to waive, according to the report. Now, Justin's team, on the other hand, is said to have regarded Hybe's internal audit as a crooked means for the company to serve its own interests. Hybe allegedly enlisted the outside auditor Prince Waterhouse, aka PwC, to perform an independent investigation that lasted 6 months and produce a report this April stating Justin owes Scooter approximately $8,806,000. Now, while not rubbishing the PwC audit, sources in Justin's camp told the website the singer's team has conducted its own audit, the results in which it did not divulge, probably because they realized that They did their own audit. Y'all haven't revealed the results, and to come to find out, according to the Maury lie detector, that Scooter never telling the truth. And as I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, it's like, you know what, you can feel how you feel about Scooter in this situation. Yeah, he's vile or whatever the case is because of what he did to Taylor Swift and try to take advantage of her with the music and all that other stuff and stole her catalog, which resorted to her having to re-record all of her songs, which is why we get the Taylor's version of everything because of the drama of what she did with Scooter and all the other little shady shenanigans and stuff that he did. That's fine. We could be mad at Scooter over that. But the reality is this: if Justin owes people money, he's got to pay his stuff back. I don't give a good goddamn if I'm good friends with him or not. If it was any one of my faves and they was doing something dirty, y'all already know on this show, turnabout is a fair game. I don't sit and have my head so far up celebrity asses that even my favorite artists that I'm not going to call them out when they wrong. And y'all already know on this show, I do call them out. So when people come up in the comments and be like, well, if it was one of your faves, because they was trying to throw a little shade at me about Madonna or something or another, and they were like, well, if your favorite that was doing that, I said, okay, now this go to show, first of all, you don't watch my show, and number two, you don't know me, because if you did, you know that was a damn lie. You just go by what you seeing on social media, and you think you can come in the comments and try to come to me. It's not going to work, because I will clap the fuck back. Trust and believe. But I have to do it respectfully, because I already know with great power comes great responsibility. And when you have a show and all this other stuff, I can't go too hard because some of y'all be trying to be shady and try to be like, oh, it goes against community standards, it's bullying and all that other mess. So yeah, I got to tread lightly when it comes to this stuff. But anyway, enough about me. I want to hear from you. What do you guys think of this story regarding this whole situation going on with the Biebs, where, with the revelations that we learned from that YouTube special, well, Hulu special, sorry, that TMZ did. I definitely have to check that out. I just forgot to watch it when I said I was going to watch it yesterday. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I believe it. I hear he's staying somewhere in Iceland at some place that he's paying $60,000 a night. Who? Justin Bieber? Or I was gonna say, Chris Brown. Chris Brown in the UK. But you said he's staying somewhere in Iceland. The hell's in Iceland besides Bjork? He was manic pants posting about phone case. Oh yeah, I saw that with the weed on case and all that stuff. Yeah, he is a mess. That was also in that article I was just referring to. But the problem with the Daily Mail just can't get to the damn point. I feel like they get paid per word. Because I'm like, there's no reason why your article is 5 damn minutes. Nobody wants to sit and read all of that. And then y'all put like 80,000 damn pictures in between the articles. It's so annoying over there in the UK. In the final 2 months of 2024, Hailey Bieber's brand Rode generated approximately $90 million in revenue from its website. This figure is not far off from what the company had originally. Well, I don't see how she asking for $1 billion. I see people talking about road booty all the time. Okay. I even wanted one of those cases she sells. I saw a woman that hosted a road birthday party. Lines in LA for pop. Okay, so I guess she is popular. That's what I said. So Selena is a billionaire. But the difference is her stuff is selling. And I believe her stuff is in actual stores like Sephora. Kylie Jenner sold a 51% stake in her cosmetics company to Cody for $600 million in November 2019. This means she retained 49% ownership. Rode took the spot that Kylie Cosmetics once held. Is definitely a thing for basic, but it sells and she knows her audience. Yeah, and look, if the best, this is no shade, but if you could sell your stuff to regular schmegular girls, that to me goes over way better than always trying to make it like, oh, it's exclusive and it's just for a certain kind, because you're not really going to sell your stuff. You have to sell your stuff to the average audience because they're the ones that's buying it. Same thing with the fashions. I hear he's working on a new album, but I don't think he can handle being famous anymore. I don't even think he's going to be able to put out a record, let alone tour. Because I just feel like Justin to me is, I don't know if clearly he's going through some things, but I just feel like he's lazy. I just don't feel like he has it in him anymore. Like he's giving me like, you're basically Britney Spears with a dick. Like I just don't see you getting out there and really wanting to work, wanting to tour, wanting to promote. I just think he just doesn't want to be in the spotlight. So he just wants to go out, hang out, get high all day, and that's that. I don't even know if he's raising that child with Haley or she's basically while they're married. He's a single mother. Well, she's a single mother. She's a single mother. Well, Donta. Rumors are swirling. Justin and Haley. Well, that has been a rumor that has been going on for months, and he's denied it. Then there's cryptic posts that she puts up and then takes down. They're so damn weird. But child, you chose them. Music rights, a nice insurance retirement policy. He had a health crisis at the beginning of the pandemic. But yeah, that's that Ramsey Hunt thing. I think he's still going through it. All right, yeah. Now, speaking of going through it, let's get into this story. So Tamar Braxton recently appeared on Nene Leakes' talk show. I think that she's down to episode 6. Let me tell you, I love you, Nene, but girl, you are not a talk show host. I don't know who's worse, her or Screamer for Hudson, because I be watching them. I'm like, Screamer for. She has no personality. She always comes across as very wooden. When Screamer for talks, she do say. I don't want to go too hard on Screamer for, because I do be feel like, you know what, great voice, but she sounds slow too when she be talking. But yeah, so she appeared on the Nene Leakes talk show. She's cute or whatever, but then they started getting shady. And then she made a comment where she referred to Lonnie Love as Big Back Cadillac. Now, when she said that, I'm not gonna hold you. I did burst out laughing. I did cackle a couple of times. But so it was that, and then on top of that, then they started talking about Candy Burris. And no shade, Nene, but I feel like it's giving obsession because every time I turn around, you talk about Candy Burris. What is your obsession with her? Is it that you want her on your show so bad? But I don't understand. You and Tamar still going back and forth with the whole, Candy Burris this, Candy Burris that. But Candy is living her life right now. Yeah, her show, Othello, didn't get nominated for a bunch of Tonys. However, the show was successful. She's invested in this show, and she's doing her own thing. While you're on, I'm about to read myself, but then again, I'm not out here. I was going to say I'm reading myself, but kind of, but not really. But Miss Mamas, you on YouTube doing a talk show. I was like, but I'm doing a talk show too. But the difference is I'm not on the level of a Nene Leakes. I'm just an independent contractor doing my own thing. Nene Leakes is somebody who could have had this big career and messed it up because she, as we said before about Chris Brown and all the stuff he's doing, inner saboteur. She's allowing her inner saboteur to get the best of her. So yeah, they was on the show. How this drama came about, and I'm gonna play y'all the clip. It's pretty lengthy. It's about like 5.5 minutes, but I want y'all to get the whole situation. And just warn you, if you haven't seen it, y'all can watch the full show on Nene's page on her YouTube channel. But I may have to stop and start sometimes to give commentary because I don't know if I can be able to retain all of what I want to say. I want to be able to react to what she's saying in the time that she's reacting. So if I stop and start, don't get mad. If you want to see the full thing, you can see it on Nene's page. I can go give her the views and stuff. But for the most part, I just want to give y'all the clips. So I just want to say that, preface that before we get to the video. So it started that, what was it? Tamar was talking about like how she got, how they came up with like Braxton Family Values and Tamar and Vince, that was basically her baby. They went and they had this deal with Telepictures and how all that came up and how she didn't have the rights to a lot of those shows. Now she says she has the rights back now. And then how they came up with The Real. Initially, she was supposed to have a solo talk show, but the problem was they were like, yeah, you got to film this in LA every day. She wasn't able to do it because she had the Love and War album, she had the Tamar and Vince show, and she had Braxton Family Values. And she was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to do all of that. Plus, do a solo talk show. So they built The Real around her. And what I did find weird, well, Nene said that she was initially approached to be on the show, but I guess before they went with Lonnie Love, which I found bizarre because Tamar was like, well, how come you didn't tell me or whatever? And I'm like, sis, if you was a part of the whole process of putting the cast together, wouldn't you have known that Nene was a part of the show? Wouldn't you have known that? Unless, girl, you over here trying to act like you was a part of something when you wasn't. that you was a producer in name only, that you was a creator in name only, but Vince was actually in the rooms making all the business decisions. You just wanted to be the face. And sometimes girls get like that. They just like, oh, I'm the face, but I'm going to just pretend like, I'm an EP in name only, but you're not really in there doing the executive producer work. So without further ado, let's get to the pitch. Let's get to the video of how it all started up before she started calling Miss Mama a big bad Cadillac. Please hold.
I was asked to be on the rail. And this was in the beginning of the process of them casting. I think it was, I'm sure it was Tamar and the other girls, but I was asked to be one of the first girls when the show first originally started. I had the contract. And I ended up not doing the real, and they ended up casting Loni Love. Y'all know y'all would have liked me first. I'm just kidding. I was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I just did not do the real. But Tamar ultimately did the real, and I remember so well talking.
I wish they would have told me.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember talking to Tamar. I remember talking to you, and you said this to me, like they had casted all of you guys, and you were like, we're all going out to dinner. I believe all y'all went to like Mr. Chow.
Because Vince.
Yeah, y'all all went together to Mr. Chow to kind of like, just make sure that you guys were friends and sisters and you guys had the same vision and all that. You produced on there as well.
I did.
Wow.
I had a hand in creating the show. That's why I'm saying I wish they would have told me that, because I wouldn't have cast Big Bad Cadillac.
I'm finna get ready to leave.
We probably would be in our 10th season by now. Thanks. Ain't that dumb?
No shade, Tamar, but I do not think that if Nene Leakes was on the show instead of Loni Love, that the show would have lasted. Girl, I still think they would have fired your ass, even with Nene on the show. Let's continue.
Red, I can't stand your laugh.
And that's no shade.
So Tamar, Big Bad Cadillac. What happened?
How did back get so big?
Hold on. Now, she said it's no shade. One thing I cannot stand, I happen to do it too, but it's no shade, but she a big back, big back Cadillac. Why her back so big? Girl, it's shady. It's giving Venetian blind shade. Let's not sit up here and try to act like you wasn't being shady, because a lot of times we try to soften the blow by saying no shade before we throw it. So if you're going to use our lingo, sis, don't sit and try to throw the rock and hide your hand. Let's continue.
I don't know. But what happened, Tamar? Because so when we say Big Bad Cadillac, who are we talking about?
The person you just named.
Oh, so Loni ended up being the person in the place of where I think, that's what I think. I'm just assuming now. They came to me with the contract for the real, and then I ultimately did not do it.
I don't understand that.
Well, and when I go back,
did Bravo not let you do
I
it?
think it was Loni. I could have been wrong, but you just put me on to something thinking like we had two big personalities. But I don't think, because they knew you were coming from the jump.
They knew that. They built the show.
I always thought it was Loni.
Did she tell the people that?
You and Vince pitched this. How did this go? How did this work?
So we was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. That's Vince's other place.
Yeah.
And I had a meeting with Telepictures.
Nice.
And they wanted to explore doing the Tamar Braxton talk show.
Okay.
And that's something, it's still a big dream of mine, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I had the Braxtons, I had Tamar and Vince, I had Love and War, and that was gone crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, well, you're gonna have to be here every day. And Vince was like, absolutely not. So let's build a show where there's people around her. So if she's out, that the show can carry on.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And we went from there, and we did we had a lot of what's the name of it, tests.
Yeah,
we had 2 days. I was big and pregnant too, where people would come in and out and do test shoots with me. And I met with Stallion, who's still a good friend of mine, and we came up with a lot of show ideas, and we created the real.
Okay, so who came up with the name? Did they?
Stallion.
Okay, she came up with the name.
Yeah, but we
real.
pondered for like weeks, and she comes to the real. It's like, oh, okay.
So when you're producing a show like the real, do you have a say so in the casting, or you really?
I had a lot of say so. I casted Tamara, and also casted Adrian.
Okay, nice.
And Stallion casted Jenny Ma, and I'm assuming she casted Big Bad Cadillac.
Yeah. Okay. So Big Bad Cadillac. I mean, not Big Bad Cadillac.
Big Bad Cadillac.
I said it wrong. I mean, so we're talking about Loni. I've actually done a lot of work with Loni. I recently did the Oscars with Loni.
God.
So I also had
She had kitten heels on.
I had ladies.
Did she have kitten heels on?
I can't remember, but I did Ladies Night Out in comedy, and she was on that show as well.
Was she easy to work with?
I just hosted, and Greg kind of like helped, yeah.
She wanted to go on last.
She went on last. Yeah, she closed the show, if I make no mistake. She did close the show. I actually hosted the show, so I went in between every artist, as the host. I brought each artist to the stage. So, like working on Housewives, when I'm working with all of these different personalities, we don't always get along. How was it with the rest of the girls that over for real?
Listen, let me tell you something. It's the craziest thing, and it was so heartbreaking. I know you remember at that time because I used to call you every single day, a few times a day. I was heartbroken because those girls were like my sisters.
Yeah.
But thank God now, me and Tam are real close. Me and Adrian is real close. Her husband and I are real close. I have a good. I haven't seen Jean. I would like to though.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was out here in Atlanta for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so y'all basically got the gist of the situation. I told you it was going to get pretty lengthy, but so here's the thing. No shade, Nene, but if I was you, I would have took the gig over at The Real. I mean, yeah, you had the new normal, you did episodes of Glee, none of that stuck. And after that, yeah, you were doing the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I would have definitely been racking up some frequent flyer miles by doing The Real and jumping in and out and then filming the Housewives of Atlanta. It's like, okay, we could be here 4 days a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm over there in Atlanta shooting the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Then I fly back out and do, like, there's always ways you could have did that. But I guess with Nene is that she gets in her own damn way. And she probably thought she was too damn big. And I would have racked, sure to believe, I would have racked up that TV. TV makes, you make some good money in television. So if I was getting an offer to do a show like The Real, trust and believe, I would have definitely jumped on that, because if you're somebody like myself who has the gift of gab and you got a personality, whatever the case is, I would definitely want to do that. Now, of course, the people had to jump in the comments and drag Miss Tamar Braxton, esteemed Braxton, I should say, over her comments. One person said Tamar crying about being called the Muppet, then turn around and call Lonnie Love a big back Cadillac is something. Another person said Tamar is 48-year-old woman carrying on like this, but everyone else is the issue. And because while I was playing that video, I was like trying to go over to some of the posts and stuff and see what the people were saying in the comments. One person said, "What was Vince then? So you won't call her big back Cadillac, but girl, you was letting one put a baby up in you, and you was married to a big back Cadillac." I wouldn't even say that she was married to a big back Cadillac. She was married probably to a damn Tesla. That's what it seemed like what he was given with all that meat and potatoes and how wide Vince's back was. I don't know if he's still big, but you know what I'm saying. Another person said Tamar is a mean girl. Another person said, now if someone makes fun of her edges and calls her a Muppet, she gonna cry. Another person said, we get all the other Muppet stuff. Here come Tamar talking about how she is healed in 3 to, oh yeah, she do that a lot too. She'll put up a video the next day after she's dragged on social media. So, I don't be bothering nobody. I'm healed. I'm saved. I'm the Lord Jesus, and I already told you about some of you religious hypocrites, that somebody can be the most evilest person on the planet, but the minute they start dropping them buzzwords like Jesus, healed, God, Lord, and all that other stuff, a lot of y'all are like sleeper agents. Y'all immediately fall in line and then forgive all the other mess. And it's like, no, at some point you got to be held accountable. She the one that initiated this. Now, while I did laugh, I did cackle, and y'all saw it, even when she said it again in the video, I couldn't help but laugh because it is funny. However, if you're going to come out here and be shady and read, then you got to be able to take the good with the bad. Don't get mad if Lonnie Love come out here and say some mess about you. And don't be mad if Candy come out here and say something about you. But I feel like at this point, Candy, don't even respond. Candy got a whole lot of stuff going on. She's dealing with her other business endeavors. She's out here producing Othello, which, like I said earlier, was overlooked at the Tonys. But nevertheless, look, you got Jake Gyllenhaal and Denzel Washington in something that you're helping produce. So you're out here doing your own thing. I don't know if she's still touring with Escape or whatever the case is, but Kenny out here doing her own thing. She don't need to worry about that. Tamar is busy on YouTube with Nene being shady. And while it is cute or whatever, Lanethia, that this helps your show go viral and get you talked about in the blogs, you better hope this show lasts. Because, you just burned the bridge because you sat up there and not only kikied and giggled alongside Tamar with the big back Cadillac comment, you even jumped in on the situation and called Loni big back Cadillac. Like, even during the interview, you even used the phrase, I believe, twice. So now you joined in on the mess. And then when they got in and talked about Candy, you grabbed your drink, you made a little shady eye contact with the screen, and then you sipping your drink. So you getting off on being shady. And I can't stand, like, if you're going to be shady, stand 10 toes down in your shade. But don't sit up and try to throw a rock and hide your hand. I can't stand no bitch that do that, male or female. Don't sit and throw the rock, and then when it hit the glass and shatter it, oh, I didn't do it. Did I do that? Yes, Urkel, your ass did it. So, stand on your business. And child, they was still up in here reading. One person said Tamar can't talk about nobody, considering how her wig looks. She should have just worn a baseball. Well, I was thinking, like, when she why it look like she got one of Miss Evelyn wigs. And then in the video, like, I was like, girl, why your hairline so far back? Like, she had the baby hair trying to cover the situation. I'm like, you could have had, see, this is why you know too many niggas and not enough drag queens. Because what they could have did was give you like one of them partials, like a fake bang or whatever, to kind of be where them baby hairs is, and kind of glued it or whatever to the wherever your weave and stuff was, to give you like a little bang situation or something. Because yeah, your hairline is giving Stephen A. Smith says. Like, you can't be out here trying to read people and your hairline is about as far back as Stephen A. Smith and George Jefferson. Like, you can't be doing that. So shout out to you, I guess. Now I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this story regarding Tamar Braxton out here being shady? Now, like I said, while it's good TV and we was up in here cackling and kikiing and enjoying it, don't get mad when they come out and try to and read you down to the floor because you decided to be messy on a talk show where Nene is still struggling to try to figure out how she can actually be a real personality and do a talk show, because it's giving wooden. Like, I don't know. Maybe you need to take 3 shots of Hennessy before you go live, so that way you can be a little loose. So I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now we got comments, so let's get to them. You said maybe he got Lyme disease. Well, he said he got Ramsey Hunt syndrome, but I don't know if he does. He have Lyme disease? He might have it. I did cackle. He said, "I know you cackle." I sure did. I mean, it was, look, I ain't gonna hold you with it. It's funny. I'm gonna laugh, but then my moral side got to come in. It's like, look, if you can come out here and try to read somebody, they ain't do nothing to you, then don't be mad when they clap back. Loni just posted about her mom who so I know she feel real bad after that, or maybe she don't because she don't care. It's like, oh, I'm gonna sting this bitch. So I'm gonna sit up here and say, yeah, my mother passed away on Mother's Day. There was another person whose mother passed away on Mother's Day too. I forgot who it was. Did anybody tell her? Did anyone tell her hairline is so far back? It's like when Roxy did her thick and juicy commercial and her wig line was show. Ooh, yeah, I remember that. You know, it's like Baby Dragon training. They do see Tamar is about to have a show on MTV, a spin-off of what Tamar. No, I didn't see that. I don't know, because I haven't been on, I don't be watching like commercials and all other stuff. Maybe if I was on Philo catching up on some of my MTV based shows, excuse me, I would have been able to see it. But yeah, I didn't even know she has a show. But look, at least she booked and busy and getting work done. But it's like, it's sad that Tamar is more or less known for, excuse me, the shows that she does, rather, I mean, yeah, the reality TV and being a loudmouth than her music. Unfortunately. Okay, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Chappell Roan, who apparently was went and asked Lorde about her gender. and asked her if she is non-binary, because y'all already know, like, she has a new album coming out called Virgin. She was asking her about, I guess, because I guess the way that Lorde has been acting lately, she's kind of been talking about, like, she's embracing more of her masculine side, which I always said, as human beings, we all come, like, it takes a man and a woman to make a baby. So therefore, when you combine the egg with the sperm and all that other stuff, you are going to have masculine and feminine traits. Hence why I consider myself a butch queen, because it's like I embrace the butch side and my feminine side, and there's no I make no qualms about it. I am comfortable in my skin, in the words of Miss Beyonce. I am cozy. So when it comes down to it, I'm comfortable in my skin. It is what it is, and I wish that more people would feel that way. And it just seems like now Lorde is coming into her own as a fully fledged woman, a fully realized woman, and saying, yeah, every now and again I'm feeling like a woman, but I feel like a man at times. Then Grace Jones say, feeling like a woman, looking like a man. So New Zealand singer-songwriter Lorde has opened up about her gender identity in a new interview with Rolling Stone, explaining how she responded to fellow Christian musician Chappell Rowan, aka Chappell, asking if she was non-binary. Now, in the wide-ranging chat with the iconic music magazine, Lorde discussed how her gender expression has broadened and how that has influenced her upcoming album that is titled Virgin. Touched for the very first time. Now, Lorde told Rolling Stone that she is in the middle gender-wise, and referenced a chat she had with her friend Chappell Roan. The lesbian pop superstar asked Lorde very directly if she was non-binary, and Lorde replied, "I'm a woman except for the days when I'm a man." So she said, "I know that's not a very satisfying answer, but there's part of me that is really resistant to boxing it up." This is what she went on to tell Rolling Stone, the interviewer that was interviewing her for the article. So now Lorde explained that she first started to think more broadly about her gender in 2023. She tried on a pair of men's jeans and sent the photo to her Virgin collaborator, Jimmy Stack. He responded, I want to see you. I want to see the you that's in this picture represented in the music. Then, while writing one of the songs that appears on Virgin Man of the Year, she said she tried to visualize how her gender felt in that moment and dressed in men's jeans with duct tape on her chest, a look that was reflected the outfit that Lorde wore at the Met Gala this year. And that would, I think, be I think I have that photo. That was the one I showed y'all at first. But yeah, it was this look that she wore. And I don't know, for some reason, the fabric looked like something you put on a bedspread or something or another, like a sheet. And it looked like the boobs looked like a little tie that she wrapped around her chest. But funny enough, when you look at Lorde, she does have, like, when I look at her, she does give like masculine features, which I think is a really good way that someone like her can play with her gender in a way. So I actually like the idea that she's someone that's not afraid to play around with her gender and everything. And I wish that more people would be comfortable exploring their gender identity. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be non-binary or transition into a different gender, but I do think that it's cool to play around with your gender. I've always had these thoughts of like, yeah, there are days where I feel like when you get more into different sides of yourself and go based off of mood and feeling and vibe and stuff, even though I'm more of a logical thinker, but there are times where it's like, yeah, I'm just going with the moment. And I feel like more people should do that. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to give it a label or whatever. And I feel like that's probably where Chappell Roan was coming from. But I guess, I was going to say it's probably because she's young, but I think they're both relatively around the same age. So it's just like, yeah, you don't always have to give things a label. It's just, I am who I am. I don't need to consider myself non-binary. It's just, there are days I love being a woman, but there are days I feel like a man. Or the idea of, I wouldn't even say like a man, because what is a man? What is masculinity? And I feel like a lot of times people have hijacked the term masculinity, and it just feels like a lot of this bro culture, the Joe Rogan, the incel type. And I was like, that's not what a man is. If anything, those are bitches, but punk ass bitches. But it's like a real man is somebody who's just comfortable in being who he is, doesn't give a damn what anybody thinks, is respectful of people around them, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, race, whatever. It's a live or let live vibe. As long as you just comfortable being who you are and you're respectful of people, that's all that should matter. And I think she's feeling like just like strong and just those overall vibes and I wouldn't say stereotypes of a man, but I think that's what she probably feels in that way. And it's like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm feeling masculine, so I'm going to put these man jeans on so I can channel that energy. Or maybe it's just a form of like being like her more aggressive side, because men can be aggressive. Now, Lorde was previously explained that her new album, Virgin, was inspired in part by her coming into her masculinity and feeling her gender broadening a little bit. Now, speaking to artist Martine Sims for Culture Magazine Document Journal, Lorde, whose real name is Ella Marija Loni Yelick O'Connor. She got a lot of names. I'm glad you went with Lorde. Explained that what was that was the first music of her rebirth, saying, I had come back from London to New York after this period of great turbulence in my personal life, becoming single, but also really facing my body stuff head on and starting to feel my gender broadening a little bit. It's just basically about just becoming more comfortable in your skin and who you are as a person. So I'm here for it. And I'm looking forward to hearing this new album because I'm a Lorde fan. And look, I'm actually hoping that I actually get to work her concert because she is coming to the Garden in October. So I'm really looking forward to that. But they said that I think the Rolling Stone article is, or I'm sure it's online, but the magazine I believe is out. So if you haven't read the article, definitely check it out. And I'll definitely check it out with more of the stuff that's coming out. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Lorde giving her response of whether or not she's binary? I just don't think everything needs to have a label. Maybe she hasn't figured out what it is yet. Or maybe she doesn't want to label it, and that's perfectly fine. So everything doesn't need a label. But I'm glad that she's coming to terms with parts of herself and is expressing it through her music. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said her show was about people living though. Isn't that like Catfish? So that was probably at the Met Gala. That was at the Met Gala. So they were a picture with Madonna. I have a very feminine face, big lips, big eyes, oval head, a male above my lips. Oh, a mole. I said a male. Cheekbones, and then my long hair, but I have broad football player shoulders. It's like, yes, I have feminine traits, but also I've got big old shoulders. Oh, you a big back Cadillac? Look, I'm not going. I'm just going to be running with that one. Big back Cadillac, but I'm not meaning it in the way of like you being like Lonnie Love size, but you say like big broad football player shoulders. I was like, like a big back Cadillac. Ideally, one should balance out their masculine and feminine features. Exactly. That's like you should embrace both your male and your masculine and feminine side. I mean, it takes a man, and I believe that a lot of those traits come from the fact that of our mother and our father. So I don't this whole idea of us trying to push down other parts of who we are as people because you're worrying about what other people think. I just think or you're afraid of being called a slur or whatever the case is, and you're not a man. I was like, I'm more man than you'll ever be and more woman than you'll ever have. That's how I look at it. This definitely sparked my interest more in this album. What was that? Well, I knew it was going. I was hoping that it would grow. I was like, I liked the song the minute I heard it. Because I think maybe it was because I understood where she was coming from with the overall vibe and the sound. Once I understand what it is that you're trying to do with the record, then it's like, okay, I can vibe with it. But it's like what some people say, like with Cowboy Carter, there was some people that was like, I didn't understand that, like I didn't get where she was going with the music, but I do feel like Beyonce took a page out of Madonna handbook because you already know, like sometimes the music don't be doing what it need to be done, but once she goes out on tour and performs those songs, then it's like, okay, now I've got like an overall visual of the song, so now I can appreciate the music more. What was that? Is her most upbeat song? Yeah, and to be honest, I've always wanted Lorde to go more upbeat and up tempo with her music. The laid back slower stuff is cool, but I'm like, girl, you need to up the BPMs on some of your songs. I don't always want it to be like some slow, depressing. Like we need to move out of that. I mean, I feel like we're slowly starting to move out of that whole Billie Eilish type of vibe anyway. So I was like, yeah, give me a little to the beat. Did you see that Lorde is facing backlash for the same interview for revealing that she watched the parent? Who the fuck hasn't seen the video? Like, who hasn't seen Pamela and Tommy Tate? Shit, I've seen it too. I think a lot of us have seen it. But why would she get backlash? That video is old. Jesus Christ, people are just bored. Me too. I'm skinny, but my shoulders are straight. I have the ideal bodybuilding shape, which is why I want to start going to the gym. As you should. You probably gonna be having to beat those men off with a stick. You know how the gym bros are. I saw in our group chat that FKA Twigs is getting dragged for asking where are the great thinkers. Yeah, where are they? Because we don't have a lot of them out here. We need more creative artists who stand out and try to be different. It's like, yeah, where are the great thinkers? I just feel like too many artists just follow what's popular and stays with the trends. Nobody's really pushing the boundaries. Nobody's out here doing anything creative. Eusexual is a great record. It's a great concept. It's something completely outside the box and different. Nobody's really doing it. Excuse me. So I feel like, yeah, everybody's out here. Like, there was even I don't know if it was a video or if it was an article, but somebody was asking, why does a lot of this music that's coming out lately, like with Benson Boone and all that other stuff, why does it all sound like music that people go on The Voice to audition with? Like, it don't even feel like real songs. It feels like songs that are tailor-made to go and audition on a singing competition show. And I was like, you want to know something? You are absolutely right, because that's what those songs is giving. And now these days, I don't even like singing competition shows. Although I do want to see that one that Liam Payne was a part of. I definitely want to check that one out. And Star Search is coming back. I forgot to bring that up. I don't know who's going to host it. Please don't let it be Ryan Seacrest. Let him stay his ass over there and tired ass American Idol. But I'm like, Star Search, where every celebrity went on, you know, from Usher, Girls Time before they was Destiny's Child, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. I think Justin Timberlake did Star Search, Aaliyah, every singer under the sun you could think of. All my generation basically went on those shows and did Star Search. But they bring it back on Netflix. It says she said she felt awakened or something from it. Mm-hmm. Benson Boone is admitting he was afraid of it. Yeah, I watched that Kayla Says interview or video where she broke it down. She did a good one with that. But I like Kayla Says. She always does a good job with her breakdowns of shows, of certain topics. But it's like, yeah, too many of these artists. Yeah, I remember Tracy Spencer also did Star Search. I can see the comment. But yeah, it's like a lot of artists out here afraid of being whatever. I'm like, boy, you're already out here with your little flamboyance or whatever. Just go with it. Commit. Once you come out here with whatever it is that you're trying to do, commit to it. The only problem I have with Benson is that he's out here asking people on social media, what can I do to be better? Fuck what these people got to say. Look, I went a whole show where I wasn't really out here being too messy with them. Almost. You always know it's always an almost situation. Who cares what people got to say? You're always going to have people that hate on what you do. If you want to come out and be the second coming of Freddie Mercury with a mullet, you go ahead and do that. Do your own thing. You can take all those elements from all those, you know, those iconic, flamboyant rock stars and do your own thing. I do feel like he has the vocal ability to do it. I just think that he needs a better team of writers and producers to work with, because them songs outside of Beautiful Things is not hitting. He's supposed to be singing some new song at the AMAs. And I'm like, okay, whatever. He'll probably do what he normally does, flip off of something, hit them high notes, but you're going to destroy his voice if you keep that up. And that's that. But I'm like, boring. Okay. Oh, I love doing karaoke. And I'll be showing out. Dawn Bouchard going, I kind of had a feeling she was going to be doing it, because I was thinking that the other day when they said, well, not the other day when I was writing the article, I think it was in my head. Yeah, I'll be having in my head conversations. When I be saying stuff out loud. And I was sitting there like, with the rumor about Aubrey O'Day possibly testifying, I'm like, Dawn Bouchard has got to be also out here, because maybe I said that earlier. I don't remember, during the Diddy thing that we was talking about. I was like, Dawn Bouchard might be coming out and speaking out on this situation as well. But now we hearing that she is. It's all wrong. Okay, y'all. So now let's get into our final topic, because earlier today, shout out to Pink News. They went and put this little situation together and said that, you know, we got so many damn drag race shows. And usually they be on point when it comes down, not them, but just in general, when the Reddits and all the other stuff in regards of who's gonna, they leak who they think is gonna be on these shows, these little drag race shows, spin-off shows, whatever the hell you want to call it. So now you already know we getting a Drag Race Philippines, like a versus the world type of thing, but it's called what is it? Slaysian Royale. And so they said that they have the list of queens who's going to be a part of it. So now with RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10, underway, the episode 3 airs tomorrow. They already put up the teaser. That's going to, well, actually, by midnight tonight, Eastern time, my ass going to be up watching the latest episode. So, there's that, because I forgot that they showed at 3 a.m. Because shout out to Bussy Queen. She was like, I don't like when they be putting up at 3 a.m. I'm like, sir, if you actually was paying attention, they stopped doing that. This season, the episodes air at midnight Eastern Standard Time. So that's when I saw it. Well, actually, I didn't watch it at 12 o'clock. I watched it like 12:30 because I was in the middle of watching something else at the time. But I was like, let me take a gander over at Paramount Plus, and it was up. So with RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 10 underway, Drag Race UK versus the World Season 3 coming soon-ish, and Drag Race France All Stars not far off either. They said that we got enough Drag Race to go around, right? Well, wrong, because Drag Race Philippines, shout out to my Filipino people, Slaysian Royale, a new version of the Versus the World format, was announced in March, bringing together a mystery cast of all Asian All-Stars for the first time. Now, in a press statement, Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbato, who founded RuPaul's Drag Race production company World of Wonder, said the following, quote, "This new version of Drag Race shines a spotlight on Asian drag as never before, celebrating its culture, its history, and creativity in a unique battle royale." So now, and the Nancy Drews of drag, of course, have been investigating Mom to help decipher which queens for the wider range or the wider drag race universe. Child, I can't talk today. It's always when I get down to the final topic, I start sounding like a drunken person that's going through a dementia phase. So they said the cast of Drag Race Philippines Slaysian Royale, including only one queen from the flagship franchise. Oh, I don't like the fact when y'all do that. Why y'all always pick one American? A Drag Race UK OG, and heartbreakingly, no Jujubee or Joella. Well, first of all, we don't need Joella, but Jujubee, I would have loved to have had her. But look, what she said on that, I think it was on the Out TV drag show that was, as I said, on Out TV, I think she pretty much said that she's done doing these drag competition shows. Like, she's not doing Drag Race and all that stuff, although it would have been great to see her on there. Hopefully she changes her mind. But as far as the queens that they have, we'll just go through the list. So one of them they have is Arizona Brandy from Drag Race Philippines Season 2, where they said she made it all the way to the final, just losing the crown to captivating Cat Cat. So that's one. Then we have Bernie from Drag Race Philippines Season 2, who was also on the same season as Arizona. She won her split premiere on Season 2, then picked up another challenge win for a makeover task later in the season, only lip-syncing once. And so we got the Philippine, there's going to be a bunch of Philippine girls on the show. Now they have Brigiding from Drag Race Philippines Season 1, where they said she was part of the season's only double Shantae and a firm fan favorite. So yeah, she was apparently eliminated early, so people felt like she was robbed, but it looked like, well, according to the sleuths, she will be coming back. Now, another queen that we're getting is Drag Race Down Under Season 3 queen, Ivory Glaze, who they said that she plays ninth during her first workroom run-through. She also passed out just before she was due to lip-sync against Rita Manu, marking the only time in Drag Race history that a lip-sync happened at the start of the subsequent episode. So there was that. I'm like, damn, was the room too hot? Then they have another girl from Drag Race Philippines Season 3. We have Kiana, who was a runner-up. And then they said she picked up a challenge win along the way. She also received the Golden Baloo twist from her castmates, indicating her popularity not just with the judges, but her castmates as well. Then also we have Kitty Space of Drag Race France Season 2, where they said the Vietnamese French Kitty came out as trans following her time on the show. And if we know anything about living your authentic life, is that the Miss Congeniality will now be even fiercer competition. So they have a trans girl on the show, which it seems like there's a lot of trans girls that be going through the whole Drag Race situation. Now we have Drag Race Belgique Season 2 contestant Madame Yoko, or as I like to say, Madame. She's the only rep from Drag Race Belgique, and she lasted 3 episodes before she was chopped on Season 2. The Vietnamese Luxembourg-ish queen from the first season in the entire franchise is from Luxembourg, and they said that I think that's basically it when it comes to her. Now they have, how do you, Siam Fusri? I think it's how you say her name, from Drag Race Thailand Season 3. And she's a queen that's originally from San Francisco and was eliminated in 7th place during the most recent edition of the franchise. And she handcrafts her own costumes and is a fierce performer. And you already know, one of my soft spots that I have for the Drag Race girls is I love a crafty queen. Like if somebody comes up in there and is like, you know what, I make all my own stuff and I make it when I'm in the studio or whatever, or during the challenges or whatever. I prefer that over somebody who's going to be like, oh, I'm going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars so I can bring y'all glam. When it's like, oh no, you're going to get me in the creative. And I wish there were more queens that was like that, but it is what it is. Not everybody is a crafty queen, but she was apparently eliminated during the season's Rusical. So now we have Something Wong, and I do like her. She was from UK, Drag Race UK Season 1. So they also said that the British Vietnamese icon placed 7 during powerhouses like the Vivian, Davina De Campo, and Blue Hydrangea, and will forever be known as part of the chaotic group that kicked off Drag Race UK. So they're saying that she's expected to bring some BDE, and that would be big drag energy. Now, we also have from Canada's Drag Race Season 2, Suki Doll. Now, she plays 9th on Drag Race Up North spinoff, and she's allegedly, I should say, repping Canada in Slaysian Royale. And then they said that she was sent home relatively early, but she did get Miss Congeniality during her season. She's also one to watch for in the design challenges because she's another crafty queen. She designs and makes many of Brooklyn Heights looks for her turn behind the judging panel. So if she's making a lot of Brooklyn's wardrobe that we get to see when she comes out on the runway, then we already know she's going to bring it when she's on the show. I was like, how many more we got to go? I think we got like 2 more. Venus Deluxe from Drag Race Philippines Season 1, and she was eliminated just 1 episode before Brigading on the first season of Drag Race Philippines. And she does have a challenge win on her belt. The Filipino performer is a triple threat and would be a fearsome competitor if the rumored cast list for Slaysian Royale is true, and she's responsible for one of the franchise's best looks on the show. And last but certainly not least, the only American queen that we have that's going to be a part of the show is none other than Yuhua Yamasaki, or Hamasaki, I should say. Now, she's the only American one. And they said that she first appeared, as y'all know, on season 10 of the show and placed 12 during Aquaria's victory run. I actually met Yuhua before. I have a picture with her. It was me, her, I don't know where, it's probably all over my social media, but me, her, and Britta took a photo together, and this before they both was on Drag Race, and Yuhua was doing it was like a fashion show or something or another, and I was there for the event or whatever. I think there was a picture, I don't remember where it happened at. I'll tell you, look, if it happened, this was about 10 years ago when this happened, so it was a while ago. So, and I should say that she placed 12, and then I think I ran into her again when I went to DragCon, the last DragCon that we had in New York before they stopped bringing it here. But she placed 12 during Aquaria's, season. And so, even though they said she didn't win a challenge, it is the lowest placing queen on her original season of the spinoff. Yua made her mark in the franchises with her bootleg opinions review shows and trademark humor. So, that is the rumored cast that we have so far. So my thoughts, well, I say all this to you. What do you guys think of this? Do you believe that this is a legit list? I'm saying allegedly all through it because we don't know if it's necessarily true or not. But 9 times out of 10, whenever you see people like on Reddit or whatever the case is, when they put these lists together, most of the time they end up true. Just like when that list came out for All Stars 10, all them names that pop up in there, they are on the show. And I was like, damn, yeah. And then when it's officially confirmed, I always go back and look at the list and put it and match it together. It was correct. Same thing with season 17. So usually I just be like, okay, now if the list is coming out, then it probably is true. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. And if there's any names that y'all have heard that are part of the show that I did not mention, be sure to drop those names in the comments down below. Onyx says, I'm not excited for this anymore. Yeah, that's why I was like, I was thinking about, I was put up pictures on I said, child, when I first was putting this story together, I was like, no, these pictures, it's not interesting. I'm just read through who these queens are, give a little information, and keep it moving. It's like, I wasn't all that excited either. It would have been nice to hear, like, okay, so once the show, once we get close to it, hopefully it'll be soon, who are the judges, who's going to be hosting, and where did they film it? Did y'all do it in Colombia like y'all did the other show, or because I don't know if they would do it in Thailand or do it in the Philippines? Well, Drag Race Philippines, duh, they probably did it in the Philippines. So it'd be interesting to see like who's a part of it, who's judging, and how that all is going to work. So that would have been a great time to have Jiggly a part of the show. Which, by the way, I believe her service is tomorrow for like the fans to come see go down and pay their respects. I think that's tomorrow. I saw something was posted on her on Jiggly's Instagram. It's kind of odd that you never competed on American All Stars but got an invite to do this. This means Kimchi and Anitra could cheat their way to a crown. I'd have been like, they should have had them on the show. You guys have been on the show in 7 years. I'm sure her style has evolved. That's what I liked about Nina Bonina Brown. Oh, that she was a crafty queen. That she was her and of course her disciple that was on the show. Nina is my favorite queen of all time. Unfortunately, she's now reviewing All Stars 10 on her channel. Well, that's what. Or she's not. I know she was doing season 17. Speaking of which, I need to get around to watching Roscoe's because they did I think they didn't have a guest. They watched, and then they said something about Maddie Morphosis that she wasn't asked to come on the show or something or other. I saw that, but I didn't pay attention to what the tea was. So I know I got to watch that episode because I haven't seen it. She replied to me a couple of times. Who, you are? Or Nina. I did hear Morpheus drag mother Athena Dion. She is. That is one of the names that I have heard. I think Onyx sent me some information on that on TikTok. That Athena Dion. Isn't another drag relative of Morpheus also on the show? I believe we have that conversation too. And then we talked about what the hell's her name? Monet's drag daughter getting into it and getting kicked off the show. That would be cute or whatever if Manila was on the show, but they didn't mention her name. But we'll see if it's true once that thing drops. I assume they filmed this in the Philippines. Yeah, it had to be in the Philippines. If it's the Philippines, right? She doesn't like how no one watched her videos besides the ones about Drag Race. Unfortunately, that's the name of the game. It's like when you do the type of stuff that we do, which is, I forget what the term is, but it's like when we constantly talk about things, but then the next day or a couple of days, the stuff is old. Like it's kind of like with this show. Once y'all have watched it, I know y'all not gonna go back and watch the show again. You already seen it. You already sat through it, and I've said all I've said, and y'all responded, or the people that come in later on. So what else is Nina doing? It's like, yeah, she's mostly known for being a part of Drag Race. Excuse me. And reviews Drag Race. So what other topics you putting out there? So it's like, it's hard to gain that traction. It's like, yeah, y'all not watching my other stuff, so I'm not going to give you a recap. I'm like, but if that's accumulating your coins, then stick with it. But there's some people, that's all they do is just recap or talk about Drag Race. It's like, I'll talk about everything. I do talk about Drag Race. The Drag Race numbers do be going up, but I'll talk about other stuff as well. So, I don't know what to tell you, Miss Nina. All right. Okay, y'all. So now, you said she's a gamer. Is she on Twitch? Funny enough, Tamar was talking about her son is a gamer. So he was like, oh yeah, he got social media on this stuff, but he pays more attention to being a gamer, and how she's taking him to Tokyo, I guess, to meet up with other gamers, and I guess that's where he wants to make his bones and his money and stuff. He's 11 years old. You got him trying to be a gamer out in these streets. All right, y'all. So it looks like we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not, please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm going to be busy this weekend, so I will probably jump back on here on Monday. Maybe I'll jump on Sunday. Don't quote me. You know, it's been crazy out in these streets. So, yeah, have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to try to see, before I forget, I want to go and see if I can snag a ticket and go see Final Destination Bloodlines this weekend, because I'm hearing that that's about to be a huge opening for that movie. So I definitely want to check that film out this weekend before, you know, you want Ozempic? Oh, well, good for you, Steve. You better work. Look, I want to go on Ozempic. No, I don't need no damn Ozempic. I was like, but look, if I would use Ozempic, look, if you got Kyle Rich's damn daughter out here using it, it's like, bitch, what do you need Ozempic? There be skinny people out here, people in amazing shape that uses it, but I guess they want to get all that stuff off, the extra fat, so that way. But I like being, I like taking the meat I got and working it with the weights and stuff at the gym. Or it's like, you know what? If I always say, if you want to use it to get a couple of pounds off, but you want to get in the gym and actually build up your body, but I don't see nothing wrong with it. But we knew, child, when what did Trump call it? The fat people drug or something or another. We knew he was talking about Elon Musk. He was out here trying to read Elon, talking about, oh, it didn't work. It's like a mess. But anyway, so congratulations. And I see Felix said that he's seeing Final Destination on Sunday. I'm gonna try to see if I can see it tomorrow before I go to work. So, well, Sharon always looked a mess. Maybe that's why she, if she stopped being a damn Zionist, she wouldn't be looking the way she's looking. Now she's deteriorating. So, I love you all for watching. And love you all for tuning in, kicking, all the good stuff. And I heard that, also, Kelly Osbourne was talking about that. Yeah, she get more shit for being fat than when she was on drugs. So, and unfortunately, that's how it is. And you had Lizzo hypocritical ass out here talking about her weight situation and talking about that. Oh, they're the ones that the industry forced the fat stuff on her. And it's like, girl, no, you was up in here with your whole ass out twerking at the freaking basketball game and always half naked on social media trying to really prove to people you love being fat when it was a lie. You didn't want to be fat. And so now after all them allegations came out, now all of a sudden you want to jump in the gym. It's like, girl, we see through the BS. I hate when people start doing stuff and don't want to take responsibility for their own mess and then want to sit and try to play the victim. It's like, girl, it's not going to work. All that shit you was feeding them over there at the Breakfast Club, that may fly with them. But I see through all that Maybelline, in the words of my girl Peaches from A Low Down Dirty Shame. So I love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, which will probably be Monday or Sunday, don't quote me. Ciao, darlings.